High School. I'm also the National Honor Society President, and I will be the moderator for this evening. Thank you for attending our forum this evening. We have 4 of the 5 candidates participating: Tom Kuderick, Darren Shelby, Jay Williams, and Danielle Funderburg. Unfortunately, Mr. Carl Brooks will be unable to attend due to a family illness. We will begin the forum with a brief introduction of each candidate and then move into a question and answer session. Each candidate will have up to 90 seconds to answer questions. In an effort to keep things fair for everyone, we will rotate the order that the candidates respond with each question. We will conclude the forum no later than 8 o'clock with 1-minute summary for each candidate. This forum will be taped and televised on our local cable channel prior to the election on May 6th. We will start with Mr. Kuderick. Tell us about yourself and why you chose to run for school board.
Well, my name is Thomas Kuderick. I've lived in Romulus since around 1968. I graduated from Romulus in 1982. I've got 2 sons. Both are attending Romulus High School. One graduated last year. It's attending college. Been married 21 years. Been honorably discharged from the military. And I've decided to run for school board again because I like being involved in the aspects of the education of students. I feel that the education of our students is very important for the survival of not only our community, our state, and our country. Things are changing out there in the world, and our students need to be aware of the changes out there and be better prepared for life after school, and to also ensure that students know about higher education and what we can gain by obtaining higher education.
Mr. Shelby?
Thank you. Thank you. First, I would like to thank Superintendent of School, Mr. Wise, and our current school board members and the community in general for inviting us to this forum, which gives the opportunity, a chance to kind of get to know us in a real quick fashion. But essentially, my name is Darren Shelby, and I am currently employed as a police officer here in the city of Romulus. I have been a police officer for 14 years. I grew up out in the city of Ecorse, attended their public schools. I hold an associate's degree from Wayne County Community College District. I also hold a bachelor's degree from Eastern Michigan University in public safety administration. I'm married, have been so for 9 years. I'm a Romulus resident, and 3 beautiful daughters. And the reason why I'm running for school board at this time is because I just simply believe in public education. I don't think there's any educational system that can be better, just due to the fact that we have communities that help and participate in educating our kids. And even more so important than that, as serving as a police officer for a number of years, that is truly a serving of the community. And this, at this stage in my life, I think it's a calling for me to serve the community in this capacity and do the best I can to be a positive role model and a positive influence on our school district and our community. And with that is why I'm running for Romulus School Board. Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
Hello, my name is Jay Williams. I've been a resident here in Romulus since 1976. I went to elementary school at Barth Elementary. I spent a year at the Old South Junior High and then went on to the middle school. I graduated from Romulus Senior High. After high school, I went into the Marine Corps for 4 years, was honorably discharged, came back to Romulus. I've been back here pretty much the whole time except for maybe 4 years. I've been married now and living here in Romulus for the past almost 4 years to my wife. We have 4 children between the 2 of us. Our oldest graduated from Romulus Senior High 2 years ago. We currently have a son and a daughter in the high school and a daughter in the middle school. Years ago, I don't believe I was ever that interested in the school board, but seeing what the kids are bringing home now, the work they're doing, kind of got me more involved. My son struggled for a little while, but we finally kind of got him back on track. And there again, I think that's what got me more involved over the past few years. I believe I could do a good job in this position, and I hope to serve the community by doing it. Thank you.
Ms. Funderburg?
Hi, my name is Danielle Funderburg. I am currently a volunteer parent coordinator at Wick Elementary. I've been in the district for 5 years, so I moved in 2003, and I've been pretty active in the school district since I began. I have 2 children. I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, which would put them in 6th and 4th grade. And so I'm in the district for the long haul. I am a graduate of Oakland University. I am the oldest of 6 children and part of a single-parent family. I think one of the things that why I want to run, one, is that I want children to know that despite whatever's going on in their life, that anything is possible if you just, press forward and do the best that to your ability. I believe that any obstacles can be overcome with assistance of getting the right tools and information. I also believe that that the district Romulus is on the right track. And so I want it to be one of the driving forces to help keep that going and to maintain the momentum and to also speed it up so that our children can be competitive globally as well as within our state.
Thank you. Our next question, what should be the mission of the Romulus Community Schools? We will start with Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. Simply put, I just believe that the mission of the Romulus Community Schools operating within a supportive, warm environment. I just think the school facilitates the spirit of excellence and promotes academic excellence, character, through leadership and the development of all students so that they can pursue their plans and be productive citizens in whatever endeavors they choose to become involved with. So essentially, our mission is multi-layered, so to speak, because there's so many pieces of the puzzle that has to come together in order for the whole to benefit. And I just think the mission of our school district, and whenever we're dealing with educating our children, the mission of our district is our children. And we put them first, and in doing so, that is how we achieve excellence. Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
I believe the mission is to put our kids first and to provide equal education for all our students, or at least the best possible education for all our students, and to continue to strive for excellence.
Ms. Funderburg?
One of the things that I liked when I came into the district was the 6 initiatives that had been set in place: parent involvement, school climate, curriculum alignment, and there are a couple of others. But that I thought was a really good formula that was set in place to involve not only just the student, but also the parents and the community. And I think that should still be the focus of the district as we move forward. I think that because we have had cuts in the past, we have kind of gotten a little off track because of the readjustments, because of those cuts. But I think as we come together as a community, as a district, and as parents, that we can continue along those lines and be able to provide a quality education for our students.
Thank you. Mr. Kuderik?
Thank you. The mission I feel our school district is the students themselves, preparing them for life and what may and may not happen to them in the future. Trying to ensure that each and every student gets a quality education and a good understanding as to why it is important to have a quality education. To ensure that each student understands the purpose of higher education, whether it's college or a trade school. And pretty much it. Thank you.
Third question. What do you see as the strengths of our school district? There are three parts to this question. The first part is, what are the major challenges? What are some of your areas of concern with the district? And are there changes you would like to see made? And if so, what are they and why? And we will start with Mr. Williams.
All right, some of the strengths of our school district, I feel we do have dedicated administrators, teaching staff, and support staff. And I believe the reason for that is many of them have children or grandchildren or other ties to our community. As for the challenges, I believe we need to get or keep more students here in our district, which kind of goes into the second part of that, which is what are some of our areas of concern. I feel open enrollment. As bringing open enrollment in here, I personally feel we need to expand it to grades K through 12 so we can be more competitive with the charter schools and other districts. As for the changes, again, it's the open enrollment. If we have a larger pool of students, I feel as though we can be more selective to get these students that truly want to learn. This would promote less distraction and a higher standard of learning.
Ms. Funderburg?
Some of our strengths, I believe, are I love the fact that there was still art, music, and physical education in the elementary schools. I think as being a drawing force to have families to actually come into the community, those are actually things that they look for at the elementary stage. Some of our other strengths, I like the alignment, how I can have my child at Wick Elementary, and if for any reason I move somewhere else within the community, then I know that my child wouldn't skip a beat in the curriculum or fall behind because the school is all aligned. Everyone's learning the same thing at the same time. Some of the weaknesses that I feel that we have as a district, one definitely is student enrollment. Because of the foreclosures within the state of Michigan, the numbers are declining. And when you have families that are moving out because of various economic reasons, then you have the students aren't in the classrooms anymore. So I think one of the things that we need to look into and consider is schools of choice. Some of the other weaknesses, I think, is just the mindset that the community has in regards to our school system. I think that we have some really positive things to offer, and I think if those things spoke louder than the negative, then we could, move forward and to be able to brag and have bragging rights about the type of education that our children are actually getting.
Mr. Kuderick?
Okay. The high quality of programs and facilities we have to offer our students at all of our schools. All of our schools are NCA accredited, and all of our schools made AYP last year, which is a great thing. Some of the challenges that we face in the district, I feel, are student achievement, trying to get our students higher up so when they go out into the real world after graduation or college, that they are on the top of the list when it comes to looking for jobs, that employers see the Romulus students before they see anybody else, that our students are higher up on the job market. State funding is a huge concern in the district because the state keeps changing what they're going to give students, what they're going to give districts for students in there. Some of the things that the stable enrollment and the funding would help maintain the top quality programs that we offer. I've talked to Mr. Weiss briefly about a program that the governor has, a 5-year college, or 5-year high school, where students can come to a high school and earn an associate's degree in a well-needed profession, whether it be like medical field or something in maybe computers or, things like that. We talked about it briefly, and maybe that's something we can pursue later. The governor's coming out with plans like that she wants to see these schools. And right now it's on the ground floor. Maybe we can be one of the first ones in this area that can have something like that. That's pretty much it.
Mr. Shelby?
Thank you. What do I see as some of the strengths of our school district? One is that I really like, and I'm really excited about our kindergarten program. I think that it's one of the best in the nation. It gives our kids a really good foundation starting early on in life. And the all-day program, I just think is excellent because that shows that the district not only hears what the community wants, but it is actually listening to what their concerns are and trying to work with the community in that regard. I think our technology piece at the Romulus Community School District is excellent, although I would like to see it expand because one of the things we always hear is, and not only is it unique to Romulus schools, but it's unique to school districts across the country, and that is always parental involvement. You know, what can we do to get the community involved and parents on board? Well, in that mission, I think it's incumbent upon a school board member to take the district to the community, and that is exactly what I will do. I will take the community to the district, to the community, through the use of technology, being in the neighborhoods. That is what school board members ought to be doing. And our athletic programs and the facilities here are top notch. I hear it all the time. I attend a lot of athletic events and out in the community, and there's always glowing praise about our athletic facilities and the program. So I think that are some of our very strong programs that we have here. Some challenges is always, like I said, parental involvement and funding. Okay, we know this. And as a school board, we already know this. This is not something that's new or germane. It's been around for years. And as a school board member, it's incumbent upon us to have concrete plans to deal with those things before it's a major issue. But the challenge for me is for our staff to understand our students. And the challenge is aligning the mission of our school district and the vision of our school district. You align those things with what motivates our kids, what they're interested in. And in that regard, I think once you align those and they come together, I think you have student achievement that is just astronomical. So I think that's a major challenge. And some changes. I think that our service learning piece here in our school district is absolutely outstanding. Kathy Hurst, if she's still involved with that program, I think she does an excellent job. I would like to see that program expand to include our seniors, because I think our seniors should be woven into the fabric of our school district. There's just a wealth of knowledge and experience that they can impart upon our kids, and not only that, having a common effect on the environment, the school environment, and they can participate in things like the anti-bullying programs, peer mediation, mentoring, coaching. They can help facilitate and run those type of programs, and I just think that would be outstanding. And with that, thank you.
Thank you. Question number 4. What do you see as the role of a school board member? We will start with Ms. Funderburg.
I get to go first. I think one of the things that I see as a school board member is visibility in the community, being accessible. I think that that's really very important. I think when you are a person that can be approached, then people have a confidence and you develop a relationship with people. And when people know that you have that relationship and that they can trust you, then they can also trust the fact that you're going to listen to what it is that they have to say, what their concerns are, and not just the negative part or even the praises. And so I think that it's very important that a relationship and a rapport is built with the community, with the parents, with the staff, and that it's a back and forth kind of thing, and that not only that, but also to the fact that I may not know everything, and so having that exchange of knowledge and know-how just kind of makes it a give and take, and so you begin to work as a team. I think that's one of the things that should be for a school board member. Thank you.
Mr. Kuderick?
Okay, thank you. I feel that the role is to oversee the running of the school district, to adopt policies and procedures that the district is providing a safe place and offering a top quality education to each and every student. Also trying to maintain top quality programs and staying up to date on any changes that happen to the public education system, and how to apply these changes to ensure that each student is taken care of, no matter what their needs are. To ensure the district has top quality people in place to perform all the aspects of the district's operation itself. To ensure our students are safe at all time while in our care. We are here to ensure our teachers are able to teach and our students are able to learn. We need to be respected by our support staff and ensure that we have quality people in positions no matter what the level of responsibility is in our district.
Mr. Shelby?
Thank you. What do I see as the role of a school board member? I think the school board envisions the community as a public education entity, and of course we formulate goals, we set policy, we oversee a number of programs, and in general, the board has a duty to see that our vision comes to fruition. And in that regard, and in doing so, the climate and the culture of our school district, I think the school board can play a major role in the climate and the culture of our school district. Building quality relationships, and that includes everyone, from the maintenance staff to the transportation department to the community, to our professional staff. You have to be able to build effective quality relationships, and that foundation has to be started on trust. Because I am a firm believer that your workforce has to be a happy workforce. And internally, those are the individuals who are educating our kids. And if they're happy, I think that will in turn show with our student achievement. And then finally, just setting realistic standards. Okay, we have to be realistic about education, realistic about what our kids are facing today, and in general, just realistic about education in general. Okay, we set realistic goals, realistic ways to get there, and realistic means for our kids, and I think our school district will continue to flourish. Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
To me, the role is to be as accessible as possible to our community, for questions, answers, whatever. I guess no matter how tedious the problem may be, we should take every concern and treat it with the utmost priority, no matter how minute. By doing that, I feel as a school board member, we give back to our community, and they feel like when you're sitting on this board, you're sitting on this board as a voice for them. And basically, by sitting on the board, not only are we trying to be a voice for our community, but we also want to have good relations with our administrators, our teachers, the support staff, all the way down to our kitchen people, our hall monitor, our security. Any questions that they may have, we want to take and try to answer those as well. Not trying to hold one side above the other. We may have people that work within our schools that don't live in the community that may feel differently as far as someone that lives in the community. But I think by doing that and taking it all into consideration, what we want to do is to help provide a measure of checks and balances.
Thank you. Question 5. If elected to our Board of Education, what will your priorities be for the next 4 years? We will start with Mr. Kuderik.
Okay, well, if I was reelected, I would like to explore the chances of our district in applying for more education grants to help support our programs and to gain top quality programs, more for our students, more electives that we can get, and also to help support our staff in earning and learning. I would like to see if our foreign language department, and this is a huge issue in the world today, our foreign language department, I would like to see if it's possible for them to teach other than just Spanish and French. I would like to see that if they would be possible to speak other more high demand foreign languages. These are the languages that are needed in the world. This is the economy is changing. A lot of things are going overseas. We need people to learn how to speak Chinese and Arabic and stuff, languages like this. So maybe given the exposure to our students in that fact, I would like to see our foreign language department to try to explore that. I would also like to see more career tech classes for some of our students that may not choose to go to a college or a university for higher education. Maybe they can gain more exposure in a career tech field, whether it's in an automotive or repair or building or welding or something like that, in that nature, culinary arts or health occupations. So that's what I think.
Mr. Shelby?
Thank you. If elected to the board, my priorities would be, one would be to consistently and always make sure that we are being accountable to the community and to our students. Another piece that I'm really excited about is professional development, because our teachers and support staff, they just have to be well trained. They have to be well trained to do the job that they're doing. And not only that, I like to see our educators, for the ones who aspire to be administrators and superintendents and things of that nature, I would like to see them being developed also, so that when the opportunity come, they can take full advantage of those possibilities. Student excellence, I just believe that is a high priority of mine. And again, I go back to expectations. It's what we expect our kids to be. That's exactly what they be. So we have to make sure that all our expectations are concrete and are in line with what our curriculum is trying to teach our kids. And another issue that I really like, I think I read somewhere, it was, I don't remember what school district it was, but it was character education. I think a character education program that's woven into our district fabric, starting with K all the way up through 12, is absolutely beautiful, because character, integrity, and all those things are tremendously important to our young kids and to us as adults. And then finally, communication. I think communication is ultimately what we live and what we die by, because people just have to know. And you have to have open, honest relationships with everyone. And when people know, whether they can agree with it or not, at least they know. And that's all we can ask when we are trying to communicate with our parents and our stakeholders and our staff, is that they know. They may not always agree with it, but at least they know ahead of time, so they can formulate their choices and their decisions that they make. And superintendent told me that my time is up. So my time is up. Thanks.
Mr. Williams?
I'd like to help the students of our community get the best possible education they can by better educating myself and the community on issues we may face in the future, and by continuing to strive for excellence in providing education to the students of our community.
Ms. Funderburg?
I think one of the, well, I have several priorities, but the one that's closest to my heart is college. I think that in our economy and the way things are now, it is very, how should I say it? I'm running out of time too. I just really think that the importance of college, it should be at the forefront, and that it should be an option to where a person shouldn't have, not want, they should have an option on whether or not they want to go to college. We should be able to direct them in the path of being able to have accessibility to college funding, so that they can actually go to college, so that it's not just a dream or a lofty idea, but that they can actually obtain that goal. Also, I'm just going to rattle off some things. Fiscal accountability. I think if the community knows exactly where their tax dollars and how those tax dollars are being spent, then they don't mind paying them, because they know that they're being effective. Another thing is foreign language. I think that we should start offering foreign language in the elementary so that that's the best time to learn a foreign language is when they're young and their minds are sponges. And I think that we should work to try to get some type of program, whether it even be a language club to where the kids can learn a foreign language in elementary. And then when they get to the middle school and high school, it's an effortless thing. Also, increased parent involvement. I think as long as the parents are involved and that they're doing their part, then our children will succeed.
Thank you. Tell us what you know about student achievement in Romulus. We will start with Mr. Shelby.
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. I think that, I know that our students consistently win their share of scholarships. I recall reading a publication in a newspaper, I think it was last year, and was talking about our students winning a record number of scholarships through the Michigan Promise Scholarship Program. I think that was outstanding. The latest figures I saw in regards to our MEP scores, I think that they are steadily improving. And some scores are even exceeding the standards set by the No Child Left Behind program. And the last I checked, all of our schools are at least meeting adequate yearly progress in those programs. Our career and technical programs, I think, are exceeding standards in a lot of regards. The health occupations program and the emergency medical programs are doing very well. And then finally, of course, our athletics, our athletic programs are doing very well. Our kids consistently receive high marks and receive scholarships to well-known universities through athletics. Thanks.
Mr. Williams.
Our Blue Ribbon schools, we have our Gear Up program. I know there's been several that Miss Adkins from the middle school is working on or has worked on and brought in. Some of the smaller technical classes, like the kids from Corey, I believe it was just 3 or 4 weeks ago we were here when they brought in their robots. That was a big achievement for those kids. I talked to a few of them. A few of them live around our neighborhood. Some of the programs like that, I think, really do a lot for the kids, and as far as instilling a lot of self-confidence in them. Our full day of kindergarten, which is ahead of the mandate, and that's about it.
Ms. Funderburg.
Student achievement. We have made adequate yearly progress in all of our elementaries, middle school, and our high school. And I think that alone, especially in a standardized test, is a very good thing. It sets us apart because a lot of parents, that's how they measure whether or not they want their child to enter into a school district. And so that is a very important measurement. Our culinary department, matter of fact, Mr. Kuderic's son won an award. Our robotics team is top-notch. And that's pretty much, I think, more or less just the fact that student achievement is with that particular student. And I think as long as we are standing behind them, they'll achieve what they need to achieve.
Mr. Kuderick.
Okay, well, I guess the all-day kindergarten, which the governor is trying to mandate on all of us, we've been doing it for years in our district. We got 2 elementary schools that are blue ribbon, which is outstanding. Not too many districts can say that. Every school, including our community high, made AYP last year. Switching to trimesters to enable our high school students more opportunities for classes because of the new state mandated guidelines on education. AP classes in our high school. Our multi-age classroom that we have over at Merriman, where we combine 3 different grade levels. It's doing outstanding over there. Partnership with local schools, districts on other career technical classes. The reduction of number of split classes that we've had in our elementary schools over the years. This year last year in 2007, the graduating class received over $1.7 million in scholarships for higher education. That proves that our students must be doing something right out there if people are willing to give them that kind of money to further their education. Our district is earned one of the national mega awards for student initiatives. Our senior projects we have at our high school to teach our students how to give back to the community and how to show leadership and how to administer different products and what impact it does have.
Thank you. If elected, how will your service to the district extend beyond attending school board meetings? We will start with Mr. Williams.
Well, I'd like to get out into the community and find out if there are issues or questions or concerns that I or the board may not be aware of. And I would like to take advantage of all classes or conferences, etc., that may be offered to me to better myself to serve the community.
Ms. Funderburg.
Beyond just serving on the school board and at the meetings, I think, again, visibility, building a relationship with the community, with the staff, letting them know that their concerns are being taken care of. Also, continuing to educate myself and to keep abreast of what's actually going on in education, and not just here in Romulus, but in our neighboring communities, because we have to be competitive. And in order to be competitive, then you need to know what your competitors are doing. So being educated in that area of getting to know exactly what programs they have, what their the national tone of what's going on in education nationally, and then also bringing in resources into the community that can further educate and keep our staff informed on different educational opportunities, so that they are making sure that they are giving and utilizing the tools. I'm messing this up, but I just really think that being a part of the community and making sure that we have the resources available for our students is what a board member is about, and not just in the meetings.
Mr. Kuderick.
Okay, well, mine would have to be, if I was reelected, how I would serve this district beyond attending school board meetings. Well, basically over the last 4 years, I've attended over 80 different functions, other than meetings and stuff. And some of these items that I do is the technology committee. I'm involved with that within our district. Early childhood development, where we work with younger students prior to kindergarten age. Right now, they have a committee over at the high school for senior scholar. They're trying to come up with a committee to come up with a new attendance policy at the high school for the trimesters to work on how that's going to roll out. Visiting the schools, going to school functions, being seen in the community, helping out in community events. Mr. Woodson over at the athletic department over at the high school asked me around November if I'd be willing to help out with the lacrosse team at the high school because they needed some fundraising. I helped them out, and I've helped other groups out, whether it's health occupation class, the cheerleaders, and I've helped groups over in the athletic department over there raise over $10,000 this year doing events down at Ford Field. I've heard the culinary arts. I feel that being a school board member, you need to be in the community. Some people ask me a lot of times, how do I manage to get everything done that I'm doing and still get time to sleep? And sometimes I wonder myself, but it's enjoyable. It's fun to see the expressions on the children's face and the students' face after you accomplish something. And a lot of them are very proud when you go to these events to see you.
Mr. Shelby.
Yes, thank you. I think to answer that question simply is just simply being engaged. I mean, you have to be engaged with all the pieces of the puzzle here at Romulus Community Schools, and that includes everyone. You be engaged, you be involved, and you look and you help and you challenge. You have to challenge people to become excellent, and in doing so, I will challenge our administrators, our teachers, and our support staff to make sure that they are doing all that they can do to further promote our school district. And promoting the school district is another thing that I think is highly important and critical for a school board member. We have to promote our district. That way, in my mind, is that our district should be the district that other districts look to when they are trying to gauge how well they are doing. And in doing that, I think I will more than help my district out. Thanks.
Thank you. How will you address the concerns of parents and community members? We will start with Mr. Williams. Ms. Funderburg.
I think one of the things that I would do is to encourage them to attend the board meetings. A lot of things that go on in the district, I think, are oftentimes rumor. And if they came and found out exactly what was going on at the meetings and what type of information was being given out, then it would keep them informed and abreast as to what is actually going on within the school district. I think also, too, again, being there, being visible, being able to listen to what it is that may be bothering them or different ideas that they may have. Oftentimes, our community and our parents have wonderful ideas, and just being able to find ways to implement those and to find people who will take their ideas and actually bring them into fruition, initiate them, and to run with them. I think that's one of the things and one of the ways that I would address their concerns.
Mr. Kuderik.
All right, how would I address concerns of parents and community members? I feel it's very important to listen to the parents and the community members and also the students of our district. Sometimes the concerns people have are not always bad. Sometimes they're a positive thing. And sometimes that's the only way you can find out if a program is really running correctly by the people that are actually administering it. Sometimes when people have an issue with a certain item, maybe it's you have to explain it to them, they just don't totally understand it. Like Ms. Funderburg said, that sometimes they've got the information wrong and you have to clarify it. Sometimes there are issues that are a higher priority to them, whether it's one student or 50 students. It's still an issue and deals with our student, and we need to be concerned about it. Sometimes you have to listen to their concern. You have to ask them questions to make sure you understand what they're trying to tell you, and then you have to do some research, whether it's contacting an administrator, maybe talking to another board member to ask them what they think or what they have heard about an issue. Sometimes it may be talking to people in a building to ask them what do they feel, to make sure that you're making the right choice and stuff and getting all the information you needed.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. To answer that question, with me, I faithfully practice the lost art, I call it, of listening. And quite simply, we have to listen because sometimes we can jump out ahead of the ship, so to speak, and we may miss something. So if we are actively listening to those concerns, I think we are better able to formulate a plan to address those concerns. And you really address concerns of parents, whether it's parents, staff, community members, or whatever have you, and you try to come up with an answer that they can live with. It's an answer that oftentimes they already have the answer to, the question. And if their answer is in line with our mission, our vision, and educating our kids, then I don't see why their concerns and their answers can't be fully implemented or at least heard. And with that, simply put, you have to listen and you have to show people that you are welcome, that they are welcome and you are open to their concerns. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
With an open ear and an open mind. Being a parent and community member myself, I would address their question and concern with respect. If I'm not able to answer them, I would investigate and consult with other board members and reply to them with the utmost urgency.
Thank you. Using an A through F grading scale, how would you rate the effectiveness of our current school board and why? We will start with Mr. Kuderik.
Well, I really thought about this one a lot, and I actually figured out, in my opinion, a B+. And the reason I say this is I could sit here and say that we can give ourselves an A+ and pat ourselves on the back. But by saying that we have an A+, that means we're doing everything right, that we don't need to change anything. We're perfect. Well, we're very close to being perfect. We're very close to getting everything right. We still have more work to be done because in education, it is constantly changing. It is constantly. The governor will get on TV and talk about her speech about education. She wants to mandate new changes. As a board member, you go to classes through the Michigan Association of School Boards, and you find out about new changes that are coming down. We have members on our school board that go over to Wayne County RESA, and they come back with changes that they hear. So you constantly hear these changes, so there's no way you can have every answer. And, you know, I would like to see the number of our students that attend college and finish college at a higher percentage than what they are now. I'd like to see the number of students that earn scholarships higher than what they are now. If we can earn $1.7 million last year on our graduating class, this year's graduating class, which is higher than it has been in years, should be able to earn more. One of the things that I feel that we need to change, for example, we had 300 juniors take the Michigan Merit Exam. 293 of them took it. 98%. Where's the other 2%? Why didn't they take it? We need to find out these answers. This is the reason I'm saying a B+, is because there's things we need to find out. Where's them other 2%? Why didn't they take it? Where are they at? And like in a classroom, and the only way the teacher's going to give you 100% is if you get everything right the first time.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. You know, when I saw this question, I was drinking some pop and I almost wasted it when I was drinking it. And actually, I want to check and see if I have my handcuffs with me before the person who wrote this question. I think I'm going to put the cuffs on you before we leave here. But to answer the question, it's difficult for me to assign a letter grade to our school district because, just simply put, you have so many different entities and so many different people who are contributing to our educational system. To put a letter grade on that, I don't think would do them any justice. But to play fair and answer the question, I would rate our district a B, and when I come on the board, I think I'm gonna bump that up to an A. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Well, it was a tough call, as Mr. Kuderick and them said. I also rated us at a B pretty much for the same reasons. I know that our current board and administration, they seem to genuinely care about our kids, our students, and they work to the best of their ability. But as Mr. Kuderick said, there's daily changes. I know that. I know there's changes every day, every week, whether it comes from RESA or the governor. In my job, there's no way every day that I can do an A. Every day there's something new technical that comes along. No matter how many times I do the same job in a day, I guarantee you every 2 days my boss comes to me and does the same thing. Something's changed. So what maybe I thought was 100% before, it's, so now I comply this way. And it's the same way with our school board and our administration.
Ms. Funderburg.
I thought this was a loaded question, so I'd say the school board gets an A+ for effort, but I think a B- if I were to really be honest. I think that there's always room for improvement. One of the things that I would like to see the school board get involved with is kind of realignment of responsibilities on the job for our staff. I think once the cuts were done, there were just some areas of responsibilities that just I don't think were efficiently assigned. So getting with the labor unions and reassigning those tasks so that they don't fall. So I think we're regrouping and trying to make sure that everything is covered. And one of the things that I kind of come in contact with is, I thought you were doing it. Oh, well, I thought that you were going to do it. So just making sure that everybody has a responsibility and that they know exactly what needs to be done so that it can be executed properly. But I think all in all, the school board definitely has a heart for the children, that they have a heart for the community, and that they want what's best for Romulus.
Thank you. What activities, organizations, and/or schools have you been involved in within the Romulus Community Schools. We will start with Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. If I did mention earlier, I was I did work in the Romulus High School as the liaison officer for 3 years. And in that capacity, I had the opportunity to be, I would call a part of the school district family. And in doing so, I had the opportunity to work with some outstanding administrators at the high school as part of the administrative team in the high school. I worked on the school district climate committee, Marriage Drug Task Force, and when the call came from the elementaries or teachers in the high school, I went and I put on programs or spoke about different issues in their classroom settings, participated in assemblies and things of that nature. I worked on our district emergency preparedness plan, things of that nature. And so being in that position allowed me to really have a unique insight into the workings of our district and meet some fabulous staff that we have here working in the Romulus community schools. I participated in field trips with the district, and what is really important for me, and I'm happy that I had the opportunity to do it, and I thank the high school administration for allowing me to do it, was I had the opportunity to teach a police science class in the high school. So I was in the classroom, and when teachers talk about class size and some of the issues that they face inside the classroom, I have a unique understanding of that, and I really enjoyed that process. So with that, that's some of the activities that I've been involved with here in the Romulus Community Schools. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Well, I hate to admit it, I know I said we have 4 children. Most of the things I've been involved with has been with the son. We've been in Boy Scouts together. It might scare some parents to know that I was the one that conducted the knife safety class every time. We did real good on our Pinewood derbies. Believe me, if anybody's got any questions on that, I can help them build a car. I was involved with Romulus Little League with my son. He played for the Romulus Flyers, was real proud of him for that. They did real well. I volunteered at Corey Elementary. I was there when Miss Adkins was there. I worked over there with Dorothy being over there. Gone to a lot of field trips from there with the kids. One thing I'll say to the board and the administration now is the Science Center, don't ever cancel that. That was a lot of fun. Kids really seem to have a good time at that. I've worked at the middle school, volunteered over there with Mrs. Adkins, worked the lunchroom a few times, scared a few of the boys, I guess. I'm not the smallest guy in the world standing there. And we've been to a lot of the band events, and that's been about it.
Ms. Funderburg.
I've been pretty active in the community. I've been an usher at the high school graduation. I've participated in the reality store over at the middle school. I've helped in the soul food dinner that just recently took place in February. But I think a large core of my activity has been involved with Wick Elementary over there as a volunteer parent coordinator. I think what I love most is the hugs from the kids when they see your face, because you become a regular staple there, and it's like I look forward to them seeing them in action, but they also look forward to me being there. And so I've been very active, actually also too, just igniting and having parents get the bug, so to speak, so that they can become just as involved as I am. So those are some of the things. Also, I'm part of the school community meetings that we have, where the community members and staff and parents come together, and we think of ways to improve our relationship with each other so that we can increase student achievement.
Mr. Kuderik.
Okay. Well, I've worked with the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. I'm currently the Scoutmaster with the Boy Scout troop in Romulus. I work with a lot of students, within the community here that are in our troop, and we take them and teach them so many different things that a lot of students don't actually learn in school. Some everyday things. We teach them leadership and responsibility and accountability. I've been to almost every school in the district and have helped out in one way or the other, and I'm always willing to roll up my sleeves and help out whenever asked. I've helped out with the high school lacrosse team on helping to get that sport back on the feet, earning a lot of money and trying to buy new equipment to help save the district money. I've helped with the health occupation class, with Miss Brinson's class, so the young ladies can help offset the cost of their competition this year. I've volunteered my time with the lacrosse team on trying to help them out wherever I can. I've volunteered as a mentor for senior projects at the high school. I'm a member of the Senior Scholar Committee. I've worked with Early Childhood Development Committee for 3 years. I've worked with Ms. Brinston on the Healthy Living Committee on trying to give a healthier environment for our students, whether it's through physical fitness, education. I've helped on the high school cheerleaders raise money for their competition and uniforms. I've worked on the annual soul food dinner, and I think Reverend Talley was here a minute ago. She says that I bug her before she gets a chance to ask me on that sometimes. I've spent many hours working with students at Ford Field on earning money for a variety of projects through programs, whether it's culinary arts or yearbook or numerous other things. And I'm out of time.
Please tell us how you have kept up to date on actions of the school board over the past year. We will start with Mr. Williams.
Well, I know the board and administration has seen my face here more over the last year at all the school board meetings. I guess that's probably the best possible way to stay informed. I've talked to a few of the board members, and pretty much the Roman and our little paper here in Romulus, I try to keep up with it on all the articles in the papers on different things going on in the community.
Ms. Funderburg.
Attending the board meetings, I think that's where you get your information firsthand, so that you're not hearing it by rumor of what went on. I think it's important to be at the meetings so that, again, you can get the information firsthand to know what's going on. And then also to the board briefs. Thank you, Ms. Bales, for doing those. Those keep me informed as well. That's a communication that comes into the schools that is available to read, so that you can really just kind of get a quick view of actually what took place. And it's also in layman terms, so that you can understand exactly what went on and what actions were taken at the meetings.
Mr. Kuderick.
Well, attending meetings, that's something that's pretty common for me. I'm pretty much, I think I've only missed 2 last year. One, I was on vacation with actually a bunch of Boy Scouts camping up north for a week. Going to classes and learning more of the role of school board members, learning about other issues that board members may have to deal with, what other school districts have tried and have accomplished and maybe have failed at, that maybe our district is thinking about trying. Going to buildings, meeting and talking to parents and staff. I'm involved in the communities through sports in the community of Little League football, through the Flyers, so these students see me, so they've kind of gained a little trust when they can tell me something. They feel a little bit more at ease at it. Going to Wayne County RESA at times, finding about new changes and getting updated information. Speaking to district administration personnel and getting the input on programs and how they're rolling out. Going to large variety of district functions and getting input from community members. And staying in contact with the other boards from other districts on finding about issues that maybe they may be dealing with that might end up affecting our district too.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. Well, I essentially have kept up to date on the school district activities, mainly through the cable TV program, newspapers, and in general, it's been more or less been out in the community. You may talk to a kid or you may talk to a parent in your travels, and they may mention something that's going on in the school district. And then it's through that interaction and that dialogue that, we learn a lot about what's happening in the school district. And to that extent, that's essentially how I have kept abreast of our happenings in our school district. Thank you.
If you could add a new rule to our student code of conduct, what would it be? What would be the consequence for violating this rule? We will start with Ms. Funderburg.
I thought long and hard about this. And the first thing that came to me was Rodney King. Why can't we all just get along? One of the things I just think, I don't know if that I would really add, but I just think that it would be important when they say, am I my brother's keeper? I do believe that we are. And I think that a lot of times when we look at peer pressure, we think of it in a negative connotation. And I think that we should reverse that and look at it in a positive connotation, that when to encourage our peers to do the right thing and to be responsible and to treat people like you want to be treated. So if I had to add something, I think it would be principles like those.
Mr. Kuderick.
Okay. Overall, the School of Conduct covers a wide range of items, and for the most part, majority of our students follow it pretty good. We do have occasional problems once in a while that a student may break one of the rules. But one of the things that really, I guess, aggravates me the most is I'd love to see a dress code, a little bit more stricter dress code in our schools. I would like to see young men wear their pants up over their hind end, not below their hind end. I would like to see the emphasis on the tardies and going to detention. Detention should be a place where students do not want to go, not a place just to, well, if I go there, I can get away from this teacher for the day. I would like to see the students held more accountable at after-school functions, whether it's an athletic event or an assembly, that the dress code and stuff be adhered to, things like that. And I feel that the tardies and the detention part's important because we need to hold the students accountable, because when they go out into the job market, most employers are not going to put up with 5 or 6 detentions or tardies for being late for a class or on work because my alarm clock didn't go off. I mean, they're basically, in today's society, they're going to get the next person in line. So we need to hold students accountable and go from there. Pretty much it.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. Okay, when I read that question, I really could not come up with anything in particularly specific that I would want to change as far as the student code of conduct. However, what I am very interested in doing when it comes to student code of conduct and things of that nature, it would be to listen to the professionals and the adults who are on the front lines dealing with some of the conduct that may be out of line, so to speak. So I'm interested in hearing from our transportation people, the bus drivers, hearing what the type of things that they are seeing, because sometimes they see things before it gets to the administrators, our security personnel. What are they seeing? Our teachers, they're constantly out there monitoring and looking at things that are not quite in line with our student code of conduct. So in that sense, I am more inclined to work with the professionals here in the district to address concerns involving behavior that is not in line with what we're trying to do here as a district, and make adjustments where they need to be made. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
I swear I didn't talk to Tom before the meeting on this one, but sitting at home writing this down. After working over at the middle school, the biggest thing to me is, like Tom said, our young men are walking around with their pants pretty much hanging down below their butt. I almost want to go over and walk up to them and help them pull their pants up. That, to me, is really kind of disrespectful to the other students, to the teachers, to the administrators working in that building. I know if I was out working somewhere and my pants were hanging down, I'd probably be the first one to get knocked in the head by my dad. You know, how disrespectful it is. That would be the biggest thing I would like to see change as far as the dress code is, let's dress properly if we're gonna go to school. I'm not saying they can't wear their jeans or this or that, but let's at least keep them pulled up around their waist.
How do you feel about the state of labor relations in the district? We will start with Mr. Kuderick.
I feel overall the state of labor relations in the district is pretty good. I mean, we hear about some concerns in areas, and they're being worked on, we're getting told. And in other areas, you hear nothing from. If there's a problem in a building, sometimes the administration can handle it, and it never comes in front of the board or our human resource department. The staff in some buildings seem to work really good together. And then at sometimes they're so simple, maybe it's just a misunderstanding on or explaining on a certain procedure or something, or maybe a reason why we have to do things a certain way. But overall, I think the district's labor relations is pretty good. Like I said, we do have a few areas that we need to do some work on, but overall, I think it's in pretty good shape. But, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. The state of labor relations here in our district, I think our district here, as far as our labor relations and working with our unions, is similar to the trend that we see around the state. There's always issues that has to be addressed, and oftentimes issues comes down to monetary type things, and that's a lot of times that's tied to the economy. And what's important, and I mentioned earlier, is that our staff and our professional development piece in the school district, it just has to be outstanding, and part of that is labor, okay? Because we don't want our staff coming to school and they're uncertain about their future. So I think it's very important. At least I will strive to make sure that we have a very upfront and honest relationship with our labor unions, that they understand exactly what the district mission is and the vision is, and that we are on the same page when it comes to that. And with that, I just think that it's important that the labor unions here in our district are heard, and that their concerns are addressed promptly. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
I feel we have pretty good relations with our workforce here in the schools. I mean, there's no way we can please everybody 100% of the time. There's always going to be a few people who may feel slighted this way, or a few that feel slighted the other way. I think all in all, the board and the administration has done a good job keeping up the relations, and I mean, we're always going to have room for improvement, no matter what we do. That's anywhere. So that's it.
Ms. Funderburg.
The state of labor relations in the district, it was pretty shaky for, I think, last year with all of the adjustments that had to be made. The board had to make some really unpopular decisions when it came down to positions that had to be eliminated. And so I think one of the things that you kind of come across when you have that is that people start getting into survival mode, and they start wondering, is this going to happen to me? And so I think that keeping in mind that we are dealing with people, and that they have livelihoods, they have house notes and children that are in school, and bills that they have to pay as well, so that when you come down to making decisions on whether or not you keep a position or the position is eliminated, that you take those things into consideration as well. I think that keeping the lines of communication open, again, to make sure that that we are discussing, as a board member, you would be discussing more efficient ways to save time in an area to where it would possibly cut cost as opposed to eliminating a position, I think is very important. So the state of labor relations definitely is an ongoing process, one that can definitely be worked on. And I think that we, as a district, like I said, it's been unpopular decisions, but we've done the best that we can to make sure that the kids don't suffer in the classroom.
Do you think that the current Board of Education has been fiscally responsible Please explain your answer as well as any changes in fiscal management that you would recommend for the district if elected. We'll start with Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. To answer that question, I think that to the extent that the Board of Education in our school district has been fiscally responsible in so much as we have been operating, without a deficit, I think it's a good thing. But at the same time, always think because we're doing things right fiscally, it don't necessarily mean that we're doing the right things. So I think it's important that we're able to look at and analyze where our dollars are going, the programs that those monies are being funding, then that those programs are achieving the outcomes that are set forth. Anything I would change as far as the fiscal management plan, I think that it's important because we always hear, in not just Romulus but nationally, we always hear about deficits and the state is going to cut this and they're going to cut that. Well, I have a problem with the state. It's like holding, school districts hostage. Okay, if you don't do this, then we're going to take funding for that. Okay, well, I am more inclined to work with our leaders, our elected leaders, and finding ways to be innovative as far as how we are funding our schools. Because what I've learned, our funding structure here in Michigan is just not working for some districts, and I don't want our district to constantly be dealt the short end of the stick. So I'm interested in working with elected officials and finding ways that we can better fund our programs. And even more importantly than that, I think it's important as this district in Romulus here that we bring all the stakeholders to the table and we put out what-if scenarios. Okay, this year we're going to be losing $1 million. And what is the plan? What are the programs that we can live without? And what are the programs that we absolutely need to have? And that way we have a plan in place before financial burdens become too great. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
I feel that the board has done the best of their ability to balance our budget, considering the economic times our state has experienced due to cutbacks, and kind of goes to cutbacks roll downhill. I know, as Ms. Vanderberg said a couple years ago, things were really tight here. I know there was a lot of animosity between our workforce and the board. I think it's taken about a year to level out. I know we brought a lot of our people back. We still have a few that are out. So to that extent, I think our board has done their job to their best of their ability with what funds were open. And as far as any changes, I couldn't honestly say at this time, without any further investigation or knowledge or research, where allocated monies are being used or may be better used.
Ms. Funderburg.
Fiscal responsibility. I think given the amount of money that the district has to work with, I think that fiscal responsibility has been accomplished. I think one of the concerns that I hear a lot is more or less transparency of how that money is actually spent, where it's going. And I think that when people see how that money is being spent and where it's going, then they don't mind the tax bill when they get it in February and say, oh, 45%. But so I think that that transparency is very important. I think that as a school board member, that it would be very, I want to use the word behoove us to come friends, and I say friends for a reason, friends with our elected officials, our senators and House of Representatives, because when we have their ear, then they want to work hard for us. And so I think that definitely a relationship to have them push more bills through and to push on the governor to make sure that we don't just get promises but that we actually get funding. And I also think what's important is to make sure that we actually have the student head count. If we don't have students in those chairs, in those buildings, then we are not going to have the money available to pay our staff, and for those children to get the tools, the books, the curriculum guides, and everything that they need in order to be successful. So I think that's also a goal, is to make sure that we have bodies in those seats.
Mr. Kuderick.
Glad I was the last one on this question. Actually, I feel that the school board has been doing a real good job. I mean, we have to stay on our toes on how our district spends our money. Yeah, we'd like to give every program all the money they need, but it's just not there. Times are tough, the economy's tough, student enrollment is maintaining. We're hoping we can still maintain our enrollment so we can keep the top quality programs. We have found ways of saving money, and by doing so, we were able to put money aside for upgrading our textbooks in our school district, which hasn't been done in a while, getting our technology upgraded, and putting money away to help do building maintenance and improvements on roofs, which a lot of us know we need. This alone has not all been done, and all the savings have not all been done by the board. It has taken the entire school district, each employee in the district, teacher, support staff, bus driver, custodian, secretary, all their help. You know, as for changes, one thing that we've started and I would really like to see continue is holding the district personnel more accountable for their year-end budget, making sure that each person that's in charge of a budget is held accountable for staying within that budget and not exceeding outside that budget. And if they are, come to us before and explain why they need more funds for certain things. We did find that out this year, for example, in our athletic department, because the way the state changed our sports programs. We had to adjust the things a little bit, but it was very minimal too at that. I hope we can still find ways of saving money, and by doing so, I hope someday we can bring back all of our displaced and laid off workers back to our district.
Thank you. Should the focus of our K through 12 programs be to prepare students for higher education or life in the real world, we'll begin with Mr. Williams.
I would answer that as both. We need to keep our higher education for these kids because, let's face it, once they graduate school, it's going to be even tougher to find a job. I'm 40 years old. The days of going down to, which was even a little before my time, the days of going down to Ford's or GM or wherever and getting a job, I mean, we all know those days are dead and gone. All jobs now are becoming more technical. Everybody wants to know if you have a trade, if you've got something to fall back on. I've pretty much been lucky through most of my life. I had people take a gamble on me to teach me a trade, and that's how I got into it. But it's everything is becoming so mechanical now. Whether you work in a machine shop, you have to be able to do the arithmetic. You have to be able to understand that computer to punch those numbers on how to tell everything to read. I definitely think we need to keep our standard of the education. And by doing that, I mean, that's going to, when these kids do hit the real world, and I hope they all go to college. I never took advantage of it. I wish now I had. I would have probably been a better man for it, but I encourage all of our kids to take advantage of that. But definitely, I think both are very important, and I say we keep pushing both in our schools.
Ms. Funderburg.
I think real life is continued education, higher education. I think it's very naive to think that the kids couldn't become successful without it. I think a lot of the higher paying jobs, the higher yielding salaries are jobs that require bachelor's degrees, and now a bachelor degree is equivalent to a high school diploma, and so I think that it's very important that we direct them in that path. Again, I think a lot of the issues that are keeping them from that definitely is getting the money to actually attend college. I also think that attending schools like the IT schools where you learn a trade are also, but again, that's higher education. So I think that real life is continuing your education so that you can reach your acquired goal.
Mr. Kuderick.
Thank you. The focus needs to be on both, and for the simple fact, not every student will be going to college. And if they choose not to, they need to understand why, what will happen, what effects that will have on their life. They need to try to find ways, like Ms. Funderburg said, was going to a trade school, learning profession, heating and cooling, maybe culinary arts, maybe being an EMT or a police officer, whatever the case is. They need to find a career path and follow it, whether it's going through a university. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a lawyer, but we need to teach our folks in the high school level, especially, what it is like out there. A lot of them live at home, their families are doing well, they think, hey, when I need something, mom and dad just hands me the credit card and that's the way it is. It's not like that. Like Mr. Williams said, the days of, well, I'm going to drop out of school and go work at GM and the boss made me mad, I'm going to go work for Ford's tomorrow. Them days are gone. They're gone, and they're not going to come back. I went through school here in the 80s when the district took huge cuts and cut so many programs, and the automotive industry went terribly up. You know, we need to make sure that these folks in the school understand the importance of having a high school education, a graduation diploma, and what it needs for higher education. You can't even get in the military without a high school education now. If you're a dropout, they won't even accept you. So we need to teach these people the importance and how the effects and choices they make today in education will affect their life in the future.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. To answer that question, excuse me, I think that the focus of our K through 12 program should always be focused on preparing kids for higher education, and to that extent, to try and differentiate between the real world and higher education, because when our kids walk through those doors at those schools every day, in my mind, that is the real world, because they are facing challenges right inside of our school buildings that are happening in the real world. So that is real world preparation to that extent. I think it needs to be a multi-layered approach. I think it's important that we continue to work with and collaborate with our community colleges. Those programs that allow students to attend class in high school and get community college credit for, I think is absolutely outstanding. So I think you need both layers of teaching, the tech, the vocational, and all of that in order to prepare our kids so when they do walk out the building after their last day, that they are able to go on to do whatever it is they want to do. You want to go straight to work? Okay, go to work. You want to go to the military? Join the military. Higher education? You want to go to university? Go to university. But within that time that they're in Romulus schools, I can rest assured that I did everything I could to make sure that they are able to compete and obtain opportunities to better themselves when they're done with school. So I think that is truly important, because all kids don't go to college, and we need to help prepare them for whatever that they want to do also. Thank you.
Should school district employees and school board members have an open door policy? Ms. Funderburg.
I kind of contemplated on open door policy. I think that definitely an open door policy is good, but I also think that there should be a proper protocol when having a concern or an issue or an idea, that you take it to your certain levels. I think that definitely you should be approachable, and that you should be able to have the room to voice your ideas and your concerns. But I do think that there should be a certain protocol set in place so that you make sure that you're hitting all the necessary decision makers when you make your decision, when the decisions are made. Am I making sense?
Mr. Kuderick.
Yes, I feel that as board members and administration, they should have an open door policy. I feel as a board member, you're put here at this table by the community, and they should have the right to contact you if they're taxpayers or have students in this community as if questions or concerns they have. Sometimes the concerns, like I said before, may be simple ones that they just don't quite understand what it is. A lot of times that board members are elected, people feel a little bit more of a connection with the board members than maybe somebody in administration because they really don't know how that person is and how they react, or they don't feel comfortable. Like a lot of us, we're always kind of afraid to talk to strangers, so you have a little bit more of a rapport with somebody. So you ask them. But as a board member, you need to be wise in your decisions and analyze and find and research the information. Some things you can make a quick decision on and maybe give them an answer really fast and help them out, or point them in the right direction, or maybe tell them, listen, I'll call the superintendent and let him know you're going to come by and talk to him, and let him know. So don't be worried about it. He's a nice guy. He'll talk to you. Or I'll talk to the principal over at the high school that you're going to come and talk to him. You know, things like that I don't think is a wrong thing for the school board members to do. And being accessible to the community, it just makes you as a better board member, that if the community members themselves can confront you on issues because they feel a little bit more at ease. They don't feel maybe hampered, and they can speak clearly and open to you. And for the most part, I do believe all of our administrators in our district do have an open door policy with their staff and parents that want to address issues with them.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. I do support an open door policy for our school board and our district employees. With me, with the law enforcement background, when somebody calls me for a problem or issue, they get me. Okay, I have to go there and I have to address it. They get me. Right there on the doorstep, wherever it's at, you're going to get me. And that same type of process can be true here within our school district. And I think it's important to find out what the issue is that needs to be addressed. And once that issue is found out, that can be routed to the right people. But if somebody wants to talk, then I think it's important that they get a person. Just my experience in the high school, being a high school liaison officer, I can't imagine being in my office and the kid knocked on that door and I wasn't accessible. Because that bit of information that kid wanted to give me, that kid wanted to give me that information for a reason. And it's incumbent upon me to get that information and do the right things with it. So I think it's highly critical that we have an open door policy. And this not only builds trust, but it also builds a spirit of cooperation and togetherness. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
I'm going to have to agree. I think an open door policy is the best policy. Anytime you're accessible to community members or to our district employees, I feel, as Mr. Kudrick said, not to repeat anything he said, but you get that feel of trust there. Not that you're going around a supervisor or anything else, or as a community person, like it was said, that it's kind of nervous to come in. I'm nervous sitting here in front of everybody. I won't deny it. But to have somebody that's easily accessible that way always makes anyone more comfortable. As Mr. Shelby said, he's an officer. Anytime he speaks to anyone, me as John Q. Public, if I came to him, and he makes himself accessible to me, I'm going to feel much more calm and relaxed coming to him and speaking to him. So yeah, I firmly believe that yes, we should have an open door policy.
Our final question. How important are music, art, and physical education to our K-12 curriculum? We will start with Mr. Kudrick.
Well, these are some important areas, much like sports are to the district. Physical education is really important because our students need to know, and a lot of people think the physical education is just getting out there running in gym and playing sports. A lot of times the physical education is learning things, maybe the exercise, maybe eating right, making right choices how you're eating. As we all know, and Officer Shelby can probably attest to this, is that a lot of families in our district are single parents, and a lot of the parents are working and the children are home. A lot of young children are home by themselves, which shouldn't be. And they have to find something to eat. They're hungry. So instead of grabbing a box of cereal, maybe an apple or some vegetables or something to eat, making right choices. I'll use the music department for an example on that. Our school bands have won many awards. We've got great performances out of there. We've had many students earn scholarships that were not involved in athletics. So I think having music is a very important thing because that exposes a lot of other students to opportunities that they may not have had. Music affects everybody every day. There's probably nobody in this room today that doesn't listen to music sometime throughout their daily functions, whether it's calling somebody on a cell phone or listening to the radio in the car. Music is a very useful program. It teaches kids a lot of responsibility. We've had some of our students further their education and want to follow a music career, maybe become a teacher or somebody in a band. We've even had some of our former students come back as student teachers in the music department. So I feel all these programs are very vital to our district.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. I too believe that these programs are highly critical within our district. When I grew up, without these programs, to be quite frank with you, I don't think I'd be sitting here today if it wasn't for physical education and music and art, because those programs allowed me to develop myself. It allowed freedom. It allowed me to express myself. It allowed me to explore things that I wanted to do. And not only that, it helped to build my character, my self-discipline, my motivation, and my dedication to do better in life. So all of those programs are very important. And we mentioned scholarships. Children go on and they receive scholarships with these programs. So it's critical that we keep these programs. And sometimes it bothers me when I hear we're dealing with budget deficits, that sometimes these programs are the first on the chopping block, and sometimes that troubles me when I hear that. But these programs are extremely important, and we certainly need them. And I hope that our school here continues to develop and innovate our programs so that our kids are competing at a very high level, and they're continuing to achieve academically as a result of those programs. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
All three of these programs are very important. Many students, and they enjoy going to the music. I know we have quite a few kids in the band, but if it wasn't for these programs, a lot of these kids, and by no means I'm definitely in that lower 20%. If it wasn't for these programs, a lot of these kids can get scholarships from these programs, whether they get a thing for band to go to school on. If it wasn't for these programs and these kids able to get these scholarships, they would have no way to go to college. Let's be honest. I mean, mom and dad, they work all the time. I know I work, my wife works, and there's a lot of times we have tough days of just making ends meet, much less trying to put a little bit of money aside for the kids to go to college on. So I think these programs are very important because it gives another avenue for these kids to earn a scholarship to go to school if that's what they choose to do.
Ms. Funderburg.
One of the things that attracted me to the Romulus School District was that you still had art, music, and physical education. Like Darren Shelby said, that's usually one of the first things that gets taken out when you have budget deficits. And so these programs, I think, are vitally important to the whole character of students. It gives them an opportunity to be creative. And also, too, I think what I like most about it is for children who may struggle in the reading or the writing or the math, they get an opportunity to be successful and to get good grades in the art, in the music, and the physical ed. And I think that is very important to their self-esteem. And so I think that being able to provide those types of programs, it enriches them. We all know that the the job opportunities aren't all doctors, lawyers, and engineers. They're performing arts, they're dancers, they're musicians. And so with that in mind, I think that those things are vitally important, that they should be a mainstay in the district, and that it will also, on the long end, give them opportunities to have scholarship and to actually have a dream of going to college and furthering their education.
Each candidate will now have the opportunity to summarize and give any final thoughts. You get 1 minute. Start with Mr. Kuderik.
Well, first of all, like to thank the National Honor Society and you two ladies for coming down and monitoring this program. We really appreciate it, and I hope this could be a ongoing thing for any future candidates, not just the school board, but also maybe city council too. I feel that my goals and my thoughts on becoming on the school board again, being reelected, are valued. I'm very active in the community. I've attended so many classes through the district. I've achieved so much. I've learned so much more about public education than I never did before. I mean, there's so much to learn. I mean, basically when you're on the school board, you're basically going back to school to learn a lot of things. You're learning the other side of public education. I feel I'm a very visible individual in the community, person in the community. I'm very active in the community, and I'm very dedicated to this community. And with that, Mr. Shelby.
Thank you. Okay. Well, in summation, again, let me thank everyone for attending. I thank the students for taking the time out of their schedules to come and help moderate this program. But essentially, what I would like to do is, I am interested in helping our school district just become a world-class destination for learning excellence. And excellence is not to be taken lightly. That is something that we need to strive to accomplish. And I just simply believe in public education. I think that we can provide our students with the necessary tools to become productive citizens in whatever walk of life they choose to go after they leave the schools. And I am also a firm believer in opportunity. And I don't take opportunity lightly, because we all wouldn't be doing the things that we chose to do if someone did not give you that opportunity. Someone gave me an opportunity to go to school. Someone gave me an opportunity to become a police officer. And with that in mind, opportunity is highly critical, and that includes for our staff and faculty here in our school district. I think it's extremely important that they be given opportunities to achieve whatever it is that they want to do. And lastly, I just think communication is awfully important. Like I said earlier, if I'm not getting the proper support or response I want from the community, then guess what? I'm going to bring the school district to the community. And that's just what we have to do. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Well, I'd like to thank these two young ladies for coming and asking us the questions tonight, and the board and the administration for giving us this chance to speak. I guess I'm not always as clear as I'd like to be. I'm a little tongue-tied, like I said, a little nervous sitting up here tonight. But given the chance, I would like to help be a voice for our community as well as our district employees. I will definitely take everything to heart. No question is too small or too large.
Ms.
Thank you.
Funderburg.
I think one of the things that, first I want to say thank you, but I think that I'm very impacted by the fact that you two are involved and that you've taken a proactive role in your own education. I think that that's very important, and I think that that's something that we need to impart into all of our students. I really enjoy being here in Romulus, and I see so many positive things going on. And one of the things as being a school board member is that I would be its best cheerleader, because if you can't brag about your own program, then who are you going to tell? So just being proud of what is actually going on. I think also too that I'm starting to lose my thought. I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. But just being a part of the big picture, being a trendsetter and a trailblazer in the in the environment of education to where communities actually come knocking on our door and say, what are you guys doing over there? Your graduation levels, the count has gone up. You're meeting AYP every year. What are you doing right? We want to implement those things in our school district. And then also too, I am very aware of the fact that our children are our greatest investment. And that if we don't do our part today, now, and to be unselfish in our giving and being proactive in their education, then we will falter when they get older. And so I think that is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this evening.